Fast food fan, you might want to finish this video before your fries. We're ranking 10 chains with horror reviews and why the top 2 keep showing up in the worst ways. Let's start with McDonald's and Burger King. One is flagged for dead last customer satisfaction this year. The other stacked with hundreds of critical health violations in recent years. Add mystery meat, complaints, and recurring contamination reports, and you get a pattern you can't ignore. Stay with me. We'll separate viral noise from repeat red flags so you know what's hype, what's habit, and what to skip tonight. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. You know the golden arches. What you do not see is how a brand built on speed keeps drawing the short straw on satisfaction. The volume is wild. The playbook is tight. The ads look spotless. Yet the label that keeps sticking is the one no chain wants. Let's start with the mismatch. The system runs to the second. Screens fire off orders, timers buzz, and line cooks shuffle trays like a card trick. But diners keep running into cold fries, wrong bags, or chicken that is not done. When that happens at scale, the noise is hard to ignore. The real kicker is how small slips add up when your store never stops. Speed targets push crews to chase the clock. Thin staffing during rush windows means one missing hand throws off the whole line. Add app promos that slam a store with back-to-back bundle deals, and the kitchen jams like a printer spitting the same page again and again. Items pile in the warmer, accuracy drops, the handoff gets sloppy. Research on quick-service kitchens is plain about the weak links. Peak hour rushes drive error rates. Equipment that drifts a few degrees will undercook a batch and overbrown the next. Fries and nuggets have holding times for a reason. Push past that window, and you trade crisp for limp and safe for risky. That is not a theory. It is how hot food becomes a hazard when timing slips. The complaint patterns track with that. Temperature swings on the line mean a patty that reads fine at the edge and low in the center. Lax handoffs send out bags with the right receipt and the wrong build. Allergen steps get skipped when the queue stacks up. No clean surface, no glove change. And now a mild order turns into a big problem. Scale turns a single bad input into a multi-state headache. One tainted lot ships wide. If a few stores miss temperature logs or hold product too long, the risk travels with the brand, not the street address. It only takes one break in the chain. So how many complaints before the system shifts? The truth is, scale cuts price, but it also multiplies tiny errors into hundreds of bad nights and real health risks. Now let's move on to a rival where the line speed is not the only issue. Inspectors keep finding what sits behind it. What happens when inspection notes start reading like a checklist instead of a warning? You get the same red marks repeating across stores. Improper temps, cross-contamination, hygiene slips, like a copy and paste error you can taste. It is not one kitchen having a bad night. It is a pattern that shows up in public records and in your bag. Reports cite hundreds of critical violations across locations in recent years. That means raw and cooked food sharing space, hot food coasting under safe temperatures, and hands moving from money to meat without a wash in between. You feel it at the counter as slow lines and sloppy builds. You notice it when the bite is off. Now pair that with what customers keep calling out. Buns with spots you do not want to investigate, fries that go out cold, and chicken with a rubbery, mystery meat chew. That last one is not a vibe problem. It is a process problem. Par-cooked or poorly held chicken turns spongy fast. Undercooked poultry is a real hazard. If it does not hit its target temp, bacteria survive the ride. Here is how the violations stack. One site mixes sanitizer without testing strength. Another skips thermometer checks during rush. A third leaves time and temperature logs blank for hours. Each miss on its own is bad. Together, they build a lane for risk to cruise through the line. Menu math adds noise of its own. A triple burger blasting past 4 figures in calories tells you the fryer and the flat top are working hard. When oil gets reused too long or the fryer never gets a proper clean, flavor slides from crisp to bitter, then to rancid. That is not seasoning, that is neglect. Closures and conditional passes, they are public records, the dashboard lights of food safety. You do not have to guess, the warnings are out there. So why do they keep recurring if everyone can see them? Because the fix is not a limited time sandwich. It is boring, daily work. Retraining so temp checks actually happen. Enforcing logs so they are not theater, and holding every shift lead to the same standard. That is one chain. But the pattern, fresh branding, messy execution, keeps popping up as we head down the menu board. If the top 2 are noisy, the next 8 are the echo. Different logos, the same headaches, each with a weak spot that keeps tripping the line. Let's start with Taco Bell. Complaints about undercooked fillings pop up alongside lettuce-linked illness events, and that combo makes sense when raw inputs and strict time controls collide during a rush. Ground beef needs heat and hold time. Shredded greens need cold and care. When the line sprints, those guardrails bend. Subway leans on fresh, but the gap shows when bread goes stale or produce arrives tired. The tuna fight turned into a trust drain whether you ate it or not, because once a core item looks shaky, every ingredient gets side-eye. Dirty soda heads and grimy prep corners do not help the pitch. Popeyes draws heat for pest notes in inspector files and rough handling of raw chicken. When raw product meets a crowded station, the risk jumps. That crisp exterior can hide pink centers if temps slip, and that is not a style choice. It is a safety miss with real consequences. Jack in the Box still carries the shadow of a past E. coli crisis. Today's gripes, long waits, greasy sides, burgers that miss the mark, land harder because trust rebuilds slow. One-off bite can rewind years of marketing. Dairy Queen proves dessert is not safe by default. Thick blends load calories, but the bigger tell is machine hygiene. Off smells and build-up flag a cleaning schedule that is more wish than plan. When the soft serve line is dirty, every cone is a coin toss. KFC, Wendy's, and Checkers/Rallies round out the pattern. Oil stretched too long drags flavor from golden to grim. Undercooked chicken and wilted produce show weak checks. Foreign objects in bags and drive-through sanitation slips turn a quick stop into a complaint you remember. The thread is inconsistency. One store nails it because the manager rides the details. The next misses because logs go blank, gloves do not change, and timers become background noise. That is how the same recipe swings from fine to risky in one exit. Different brands, same failure modes. Poor temperature control, weak cleaning, rushed staff, and cheap fixes that later cost more. Now let's talk about how you, standing at the counter with 5 minutes to spare, avoid becoming the next horror review. The truth is, you do not control the kitchen, but you control the order and the timing. That is your leverage. Use it. Convenience pushes you to tap the first combo on the screen. Safety pushes back and says pick the thing that just hit the grill, not the tray that has been coasting. Let's start with a simple rule. Choose items cooked to order or held for short windows. A fresh patty, a just-dropped chicken fillet, a burrito built hot and fast. Those live less time in the danger zone. Skip low-traffic oddballs that tend to sit. Complex salads late at night? Pass. Chopped produce and proteins sit together longer than you think, and cold holds slip when the rush ends. Watch the room before you order. A steady line often means turnover, which means hotter food and shorter holds. A dead store at off hours can mean oil that has not been changed and pans no one has reset. Busy is not perfect, but idle is often worse. Ask for heat on demand. Say, fresh fries, please, or cook that patty fresh. You will wait a few minutes. It is worth it. Heat is the kill step for bacteria, and fresh orders sidestep the fryer bin that turned soggy 20 minutes ago. If they say no, you have your answer about standards. If you have allergies, state them early and clearly. Ask for a clean surface and a glove change. That is not extra. That is basic cross-contamination control. If the staff hesitates or jokes it off, walk. There is another option within a mile. When your food hits the counter, do a fast check. Feel for heat through the bag. Open it. Look at color and texture. Is the chicken still glossy in the middle? Is the burger gray-brown all the way through? Seals intact? If anything reads underdone, send it back without apology. Safe internal temps are non-negotiable. Ground meat should hit 160 degrees Fahrenheit. Poultry 165 degrees Fahrenheit. Fish 145 degrees Fahrenheit. If you are not sure, ask for more time on the grill. Small moves cut big risks. A better pick, a better time, a quick check at handoff. That saves you from paying twice, with your cash and your gut. And if this gave you something to chew on, you know what to do next. Scale makes dinner cheap, but it also multiplies tiny misses into big patterns you cannot brush off. One slip on temps, one skipped clean, one rushed handoff, and the whole system echoes it, store to store. That is the real kicker. You have power here. Like and subscribe to help us keep the spotlight on the food industry's best-kept secrets, and share this with someone who orders on autopilot. The more eyes on this, the tighter the standards get. Stay curious. Drop the chain you want us to audit next, and we will follow the paper trail. Your tip might be the thread that pulls the whole knot.